Hello YouTube, I am back for another video. I am trying to upload once every 2 weeks. It's not very consistent because it's been 13 days since my last video, but that's okay. So today, this was suggested on my last video. I'm going to do my top 5 books, and then there's going to be 2 honorable mentions. So I guess we can just get into it. First honorable mention, which I guess would be number 7, is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. I freaking love this book. I read this book in 8th grade and it was really good. You know, you always hear about MLM books, but this one is ULW, Woman Love Woman. This is like basically a lesbian novel, and the main character is Asian and she has to worry about her dad being deported and all of that, and it is a really good book, and it was set in the 40s, and it's very real. I just have to say that, and I suggest this book to everyone, yeah. Number 6 would be The Picture of Dorian Gray. This is the only I'm pretty sure this is the only classic on this list. And this book, it took me a second to read because it is like, there's a lot of hard vocabulary. Like, I wouldn't suggest this as your first classic. I would suggest The Outsiders or Catcher in the Rye as your first classic, honestly, because it's a lot easier to read than like the ones that were written in the like 1800s, because they used Old English. But this book is so good. Oh my god. And it says on the cover that it's Oscar Wilde's only published novel. Yeah, his only published novel. All the other stuff that is published, I think, is plays or poems or something like that. But this one is really good, and I do recommend it if you're like into all the classics and you need like something harder than Catcher in the Rye or The Outsiders, you know? We're finally getting onto the top 5. So number 5. Ugh. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. This book is so good. Made me scream. It's freaking amazing. It's very well written. It's a good YA novel. It's MLM, so main character is gay. It's very like present, you know, like online relationship, all that stuff. And I got this book at the Goodwill bins in Dayton, Ohio, and it was probably like 10 cents, and best 10 cents I've ever spent because this book was so good. Number 4 is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This is my favorite John Green book. Second is Turtled All the Way Down, but this is the first book that I ever read in a day. It took me a day to read this book, and it was so good. The book didn't make me cry, but the movie did, and this book is really well written, one of John Green's best in my opinion. Yeah, I remember getting this in Waxahachie because I forgot to bring a book up there when I was babysitting, and this took me only a day. So y'all can read it in a day because I'm a pretty slow reader. This book, seriously amazing. Oh my god. 3 is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This book is probably in a lot of booktubers' top 5, honestly, because it's so good. I don't have any complaints about this book besides the fact that the word endeavor was used in like every other sentence, but it's so beautifully written. It's like very beautiful book. Like, it uses a lot of imagery. Like, you can picture everything that happens in this book, I guess. And it's set in, I'm pretty sure, in like 1800s, early 1900s. It is so good. I strongly suggest this one. It took me a while to read because I stopped reading it and read a ton of other books, and then I picked this one back up so I could finish it, and best decision ever because this is number 3 on my list. 2 is Eliza and Her Monsters, and in the last video I said that this one is my favorite book that I own, but that is a mistake, or that was a mistake, because this book is super good. It's number 2. Like, I don't really remember a lot because I read this book when I was in 6th grade, I think, which was like 3 years ago. I'm a freshman now. But it's really good. Romance, like, it's so realistic, like webtoon writer, you know? This girl literally writes like a webcomic. And I think that's super cool. And it shows some of the comics in it, and I think that's awesome. And the book is really well written, and I freaking love romance books. All of these books have romance in them besides the picture of Dorian Gray. Yeah, so obviously I'm a romance lover. Even if it's like not like the genre of the book. Like this would be a romance book, but like never mind what I said. But yeah, this is a romance book and it's really good. Honestly, characters are well written. I don't think Eliza or Wallace are flat characters. I think they're very good characters. I don't really think any of the characters in this book are flat, honestly. Like, I think they all have a lot of character development in all of them. So, number 1. I recommend it to literally everyone I meet. This is my favorite book that I own. It was not in my bookshelf tour because it is not actually on my bookshelf. It's on my mom's shelf because I read this first and then she wanted to read it. So I gave it to her. And I put this on my Amazon list a few years ago, not knowing what to expect. This is the only book that has made me cry. This book made me sob, and my mom thought I was crazy because I sobbed to this book. But it's very real. There's mental health, there's a tiny bit of romance in there. I know people who have gone through this sort of stuff, so it really, you know, knocks on my heart. Like, this stuff, this is very real, you know. I see a lot of people, like, this is definitely a trigger warning book. Like, beware. I'm pretty sure there's self-harm in this book. There's a lot of talk of mental health. Kind of like A Little Life, I guess. I need to read that book. I need to read A Little Life. But yes, Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow is my favorite book of all time. And that's all I have for you today. This was a short video, I know, because I'm not that great at explaining books because I don't really want to spoil it, or you know. But I think the next video will be at least 5 favorite books on my shelf. Let me tell you, The Betrothed is one of them. Betrothed is probably number 2. So yes, that is it for this video. Leave suggestions of stuff I should do after I do my 5 least favorites. And that is it. And I'll leave my Goodreads linked in the description, so y'all can like follow me on there and see what I'm reading at the moment. That is it. I hope y'all have a good next 2 weeks when I upload the next video. Bye guys!